Hello, I'm Scott, the breathing guy. I'll train you to locate, generate, activate core key energy in physical activity. This video's physical activity is lap swimming. And I'm going to introduce you to a form of lap swimming that no one else has on YouTube I can find. There's a lot of good instructors. And it's called Freestyle Meditative Swimming. And what I'm going to introduce in this video series, no one else covers. Basically, the first thing is core breathing. How do you physically develop your core to breathe for swimming? Understanding, I am from a Qi Gong approach. I'm taking for this whole process of breathing, how to engage the whole torso in your breathing if you choose to. Or you can select one of the chambers. There's 3 chambers in the torso to breathe: the lower core, diaphragm, and chest. Those are the 3, and how you mix those 3 together determines your energy and strength, focus, and physical movement. So what makes meditative breathing for lap swimming is basically, I'm going to teach you or give you techniques for breathing, but then how to direct your breathing into your swim. And it's all about feet, hands, and head. That's right, for swimming. Now, let's begin real quick. What is the fundamental theory of swimming? Is to be able to move the body forward. Any impediment in your movement that restricts that forward motion is inhibiting you to increasing your effort. It's increasing your effort to swim. So everything I want to teach or show you is a way of having the least resistance going forward in your physical movement. Now, I've looked at a lot of good instructors in a number of areas I disagree with in a sense of creating that efficiency in swimming. And the big one is hands. Now let's get into swimming theory. Freestyle swimming theory is basically 80% of your force for forward motion is from the diaphragm up, from the belly button. The legs is 20%, or it could be even less. The function of the legs in this freestyle I'm advocating is basically, as you're going for long distance, is to prevent drag, to have just give it enough force in the feet to where it doesn't impede the forward motion. If you try to overkick because of the way the body's shaped, it will burn you out unless you really have a lot of stamina. It varies, but minimum, kick enough where your feet are not a drag, so your upper body propels you forward. So I call it the 80-20 rule. It can vary, but that's just the basic. 20% of your force in your legs area and 80% in your upper body area. That's what we're working for meditative breathing, for freestyle swimming. Let's begin. The whole purpose of the core, breathing produces endurance, it produces energy, and if you engage the core with your breath enough, it produces strength. The thing is, how do you direct it? Way you direct it is a key part. And the function of the mind in this approach, from an energy point of view, is to direct your energy, to direct your strength throughout the body for the purpose you want. So 80% of your force is going to come from the diaphragm. Now, one other concept let me introduce you to. The core has a lower chamber and upper chamber. There's 2 chambers in the core. Lower core here, that works the legs, that works, that's your diaphragm, works your upper body. So understanding how you engage that in your breath really makes a difference in what type of force you're going to generate. And you know, the number one problem that people have in life, I argue, is they don't exhale enough. Learning to exhale more while you're swimming. This is where the meditative exhale process, because imagine you're exhaling very slow and you're actually releasing all that energy, because I equate breath and energy together. So the longer you exhale, the more energy is released in it. And when you release it, guess what? When you inhale, you bring your energy back in. The function of the breath, there's four parts to my breathing approach. Inhale, brings energy in. Pause. That's when you really have your strength and you're going for it, for muscle-wise. Exhale. How long can you exhale? and then pause. How many strokes can you get when you're totally empty before you inhale again? Those are 4 separate, you want to say, effects on your energy. And learning how to, if you want to work with them. You know, the weakest time you are in your swimming stroke is when you're inhaling. Not when you're exhaling, not when you're pause, and not pause. But the inhale is always the weakest point in your swimming speed. And it's just natural. People compensate for that. So, understanding from the belly button down, works the legs. That's where you want to put 20% of your kicking force. You tone your muscles. Now, by making it meditative, we're not going to go fast across laps in the beginning. In fact, the slower you can go, but the smoother, engaging muscles. And here's the thing, I'm going to show you what muscles to engage during different parts of your stroke, especially the hands. I got a hand technique that will really enhance your meditative side, but the more you learn the meditative lap process, the more you can speed it up for racing. The more you can engage your muscles to a more efficient level. Great swimmers are always strong in that forward motion, but how efficient is it? Because you rely on maybe your, if you want to say shape of your body, you have long arms. There's physical advantages in every sport for people involved. But for us other people that don't have any real physical advantages, how can we enhance our abilities? And breath is the beginning for endurance and for strength. That's the beginning. So I will have a video dealing with core breathing for swimming and how to work it. That's all. And the more you can feel down in this area, the more enhanced. Second area in development, this is an introduction, is the hands. How to move your hands. Since 80% of your force comes up, the whole idea of forward motion is the whole name of the game, how to propel your up. Anything that impedes that forward motion, do you really want to do it? I'll give you an example. A lot of swimming strokes, they do this. They come around like this, and they dive in the water like, see my hand? So they're going like this, but you're going forward and here. That creates resistance. That slows you down. That's not propelling you forward. Two, hands. How do you want to have your hands? I watched enough swimmers, when they get tired, their hands start opening up like this. They're opening up. Then the other one, when you start off, they try to keep their hands like this, straight. They're like this. See the thumb? See the hands like this, but their hands are slightly open. That's releasing resistance. You're not maximizing the act of coming around. You want to maximize the amount of resistance that you come through. Now, understanding I'm a Qi Gong orientated person, and I got to take the energy from here to my hands. Here's a rule. The hands should move the arm. The feet should move the legs. That's a different concept. Most people swimming, they think of the arms moving the hands. I want you to think of the hands moving, because that's a meditative, it's a flowing state. It creates less resistance. Your shoulders. Now, the number one rule that will make you, that if you change, will make you stronger in your swimming stroke is do not have stress in your shoulders. Do not use these muscles up here. That's it. If you have stress in your shoulders or tight shoulders, it makes the whole body weak. Feet, hands, body weak. How do you change that? Is with the core. The more you engage the core, that's here and actually back here in the glutes, the more this area can be soft. So your hands can move better. That's the key element there. Understanding tight shoulders make you a weak swimmer. Puts a whole lot of, you have to work really, really hard to keep up with anyone that has soft shoulders. So the whole idea of meditative swimming is to have soft shoulders, to have a fluid body in the motion. This is meditation. Your mind is so focused on your internal body, you're directing in your breath. It all begins of realization of your breath while you're swimming. So really understanding that. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you hands. How should you move your hands? Well, and to begin with, because you don't want this and you don't want this. This is an introduction video, so I got to have I'll have a whole video size. So the first thing I'm going to show you is When you have your hands like this, bring your thumb and press it right there. Right below the knuckle, press your thumb and press the little finger against here. Now, see these fingertips? Curl them. You're making a cup. The cup will enhance the water resistance for forward motion. If you do this right, then you have, I haven't showed you how to connect it to your core yet, but that's another thing. Not to your shoulders. This is a whole state. You begin your whole form from your core out to your hands, your core to your feet. But we're strictly upper body on this one. But that's the first thing I want you to make your hand, and you make your fingertips, not fingers, fingertips only. So your hands straight, curl your fingers, press the thumb here, press this right here. And now, if you can test this, you can actually test this. How strong does that make your hand? So do two things for me. One, open your hand like you normally do. Put your hand anyway. Put it against a hard surface, and if you want to say, press down on it, like this. And see how strong your hands is, how much force can you put in your hand or against an object. And feel what tightens up. I'll bet you 99% of the time, if you press down on something like this, your shoulder right here, this muscle, this whole area right here, tightens up, pushing down. If that is accurate, so when you're swimming, coming around, creating resistance, you're actually tightening your shoulders to move, not your core. You don't need to. You don't know how to understand the sensation of true power, force that is projected, that your hands can generate. Don't worry about arms. Arms are a conduit to the hands for force in life. So understand. So the first thing, try this and see how much your finger. Then put your fingers like so, little finger so, curl the tip, just like that. Now do the same technique. And if you, now press down and see how you can press your fingers, tips. If you can press your fingers through the water, that's this area right through the water, you got more force by definition. Two, your shoulders won't be as tight when you're doing this. This is a basic technique of engaging the hands to make a solid wall. And by cupping the right here, and you're cupping here, the amount of water resistance that you're going to generate for forward motion, that's just the beginning. This is a first video, but I'm introducing the hands. So by just like this, and when you're swimming, think of going and projecting at fingertips. So here's awareness in meditation. Being aware of your fingers while you're swimming and what they're doing. Now, all movement by definition is hard and soft. The more fluid, softer you make your arms coming through, the faster you can go. The harder you can make your arm, the more you can pull through. So contrasting the movement in the meditative aspect is a hard and soft process. And how well fluid. You actually got 4 stages even than that. Is basically you make hard, soft going forward till you hit impact, and you make for a second, you transition from the soft to the hard coming through, and then you make yourself soft to get pause for a second, just like to change to soft so you can get. How you use your fingertips, how each finger will affect that. When you're doing this, don't think only thing you have to worry about is thumb and little finger, not the other fingers. The other fingers are soft. They're and when you curl your fingers, that makes them hard. Just that little tip forward makes your fingers hard. That's it. But by pressing your thumb there, it puts stabilization of that thumb, and then pressing the little finger here, and then you have a curl again and pushing it here. Your whole arm comes like a one piece. It's a sensation. It takes a little time, but the number one rule when you practice number one rule is soft shoulders. When you practice this feel, make sure your shoulders aren't tight. When you're pressing like this, don't drop your shoulders. And if you want to tighten anything, tighten your glutes right here. I can give you precise muscle, but I won't on this one muscle. But this is an introduction. So 80% of your swim is upper body, 20% down there is your lower body, so it's not a drag. Your feet aren't a drag on you. So balancing that out, neutralizing the lower body, emphasizing the upper body for meditative. 2, the breathing. There's just 4 parts to a breath. Inhale brings energy in. Pause. Maybe take 2 or 3 strokes on. Then the next 6 or 7 or 8 strokes, you're exhaling. on that, and then pause on 2 or 3 strokes, then inhale. This is a state of fluidity. This is not you're not striving for air, and you're moving slow, gliding, and you're just feeling. You're feeling your movement. I will be going into muscles you're going to use. What group of muscles? Is it going to be either the chest muscles for this part of the stroke, or is it going to be your back muscles? That's the lats down here, down your whole back. Now you see most swimmers have these nice lats and back muscles. Why do you think that exists in that form of movement? Because their arm comes straight out like this. So the other video I'm going to do next is on the arms. How do you move your arms, and how do you make this work for you with the breath? 2, on the breathing. Practice breathing in a chair. Practice breathing, pulling your stomach in while you're laying in bed. Number 1 rule when you're practicing in bed or sit in a chair, your hips have to be slightly tilted forward like this, so that way you can engage the lower core. If your hips are tilted, you cannot move this area. There's no range. You can move the diaphragm here, the upper core, but here. But if you tip here and breathe, start here, push out here, here, and when you push out here, you push out your back, not your chest. You don't go like, no, no, no. You want more air. When you do this, inhale, expand your back, because that's what you want in swimming. You want to fill your whole lungs is filling the back up on the inhale, because you're pushing your stomach out. You push your stomach out to inhale, and you exhale by pulling your belly button in. There's a whole art to this, a whole habit you have to develop that we've lost. When I was having instructor, my instructor calls the basic breathing in this program is baby breathing. How do babies breathe? They don't have lung capacity when they're born, but their stomach goes up and down for breathing. Inhale up, exhale. And if you ever heard a baby cry, a single cry, man, they produce more energy for a long time before they take an inhale. Imagine doing the same force in your swimming, and that's removing restrictions that permit you to do that, believe it or not. Babies don't have any emotional restrictions and physical inhibition per se. So you got a combination of physical and head action that's consuming energy. They just they have a single expression, take care of me. On that. But learning baby breathing is a whole art in itself. Feet, that's going to be a minor part in this whole approach on there. I'll deal with feet a little bit, but it's neutralized. But hands, how do you move the arms? That is basically for meditation, for slowing. Again, if you get this form down really good, practice, you can amplify the movement for speed, for racing even, I argue. You can actually, but it's toning muscles, it's reconditioning your internal forces. What muscle groups, attitude, core, makes the movement in your swim stroke? You're doing it now, but eliminating any stress across, any muscle engagement across here. Do not engage muscles here. You engage muscles down here and here, and hands. The hands should move your stroke, not the arms. That is different. It's an experience. And that's what this whole idea of freestyle meditative swimming is an experience of your body internally, working with your mindfulness, developing mindfulness within the swim itself. It relaxes, how can I say? It brings you together, because your reality between mind, it's going to tone muscles, it's going to help you coordinate muscles and your breath. Having the idea that you take really good inhale and a long exhale. I call that offset breathing for physical, if you want to say activities. Meditative breathing is even breathing. Fast as you inhale, fast as you exhale. Active breathing is offset breathing. Like running. You inhale quick, how long can you exhale for in between your breath for running? Sprinting is virtually inhale and you almost let a little air out for the short distance you do, because they want to keep the core tight. And then they take breath. They don't want to inhale while they're while they're running in a sprint. Long distance people, that's another story. They gauge their breath patterns. They go in, they're soft and fluid. Why not make your swimming stroke a very fluid action, a very flowing? And remember, how do you move your hand, how you involve, how to move your head for your breath, all comes into play of how you shape your stroke, what muscle groups. And the number one muscle group you do not use is across here. That's what you don't do. But you use here. That's what you want. You do use here, you won't use here, there. Up shoulders. If you're not using the core, you're using the shoulders. That's the hard, fast rule. You're going to use one or the other. So this is the first video, introduction to freestyle meditative swimming and how to use your core breathing within it for a meditative state of flowing and engaging and toning. I really designed it for people, if you want to say that are 50 and above, that wants to tone muscles, really bring your body into a good state. But the breath is the key. You lose your breath, you lose all endurance, you lose your energy and strength over time. Shorter the breath, shorter the endurance, and everything follows from that. I always said, as you get older, your breath goes down, your endurance goes down, your strength goes down. So, review what I'm saying with the hand, test what I'm saying physically with the thumb here. Do not tighten up here. Those are the few things right at this video I'm addressing.